Trying to decide whether that new game is worth your $60? Or maybe you're just wondering if an old game is worth your time. Well, you came to the right place. This is the only podcast that tries to answer the question,
should I buy it though?
Hey everyone, welcome back to Should I Buy It Though? I am Giancarlo Herrera, your naughty nautical narrative lover.
TJ Berry, God of the Wind, Child of Maui.
I'm Amanda James Thatch.
And this week we are going to be reviewing the new ocean-bound game, Windbound. And presiding over the case of Windbound is the Honorable Captain Mad Dog Malachi.
Mad Dog Malachi here, gentlemen of fortune, living in them alike shall all bow before the great Captain Malachi. And
Played by Nick Benetatos.
who's that and what now? And to my right, my beautiful fair sea wench Fiona, the mermaid.
Hello, you naughty sailors. I'm Fiona the mermaid.
God! Oh,
Why
God!
she's so hairy.
I'm Fiona the mermaid. Each and every day I go splashing through the ocean blue. And I heard about the new game Windbound, and I want to learn all about it so I could tell all my guppy friends back home.
I thought mermaids had fish parts on the bottom. Why is it on the top?
I don't appreciate you commenting on my appearance. I'm a beautiful little woman.
I'm sorry. It's 2020. I should be better about this.
I'm a beautiful lady, and I'm ready to talk about some games.
So, we've got here a game that looks a lot like a certain Zelda clone, Windbound. Not a clone. Zelda, right? Not Wind Waker. Looks like Wind Waker. Am I correct in that assumption?
You are correct in the assumption that it looks like Wind Waker. But whatever the opposite of waking up is probably what this is.
Ouch.
Oh, nice.
I disagree, but it is very similar to Wind Waker, yeah. Or at least the sailing part. Not even the sailing part. You're on a boat. That's about the similarities to Wind Waker.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't know much about this game coming into it, and Palazzo would basically just kept repeating that it looked like a Wind Waker successor, like spiritual successor type thing. And so I don't know what I was expecting, but I got something very different. This game, to me, is more of a mix of, like, Minecraft with a roguelike game that just so happens to have, like, janky Sea of Thieves sailing mechanics. Not that Sea of Thieves mechanics are janky, but it takes those mechanics, makes them janky, and then throws them into the game.
See, I had the opposite. Not the opposite, but like my hopes were high, but I went in with zero expectations.
Yeah.
As I try to do with most games. And I was let me tell you, I was really on board in the beginning. I was happy to play. And then I continued playing, and I was no longer happy. So, there's that.
Bro, it's a fun game. You just gotta play it. Actually.
I'm curious to see, because I have been dying to hear your opinion on the game. So, for those of you listening who don't know what this game is, essentially you play as this character. I think her name is Kara. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. You have no way of knowing that. But turns out, I guess her name is Kara.
Yeah, that is weird.
Is the only human in this world, and so you are sailing between these islands, and the islands have different wildlife and plants on them, and you can build boats and all of this. And so there are 5 chapters to the game, and the 5 chapters are exactly the same all the way through. It is you looking for these towers, you climb up to the tower, you find this little like magic shell, you find 3 of them, and then at the end of a chapter you sail to like the central hub, where using those 3 you unlock a passage, you open, you go into a little sailing section that leads you into the next chapter, you get a power-up, and then you do it again. And you literally do the same thing 5 times. But I'm sure we will get into that. TJ, I'm curious, what did you like about the game?
It gave you a level of freedom, because you didn't, you can go find the 3 towers to get through the level if you're trying to shoot through it, yeah. but the levels are vast. They're larger. You can go and customize and do whatever you want. Like, because I was doing it for the stream and because I was trying to get it done, I didn't experiment all the way through. But there are like other costumes you can get, other items. Like I got a glider, which is cool, that I wish I had like earlier. You can go and collect items that I had to leave different places. You can build different boats to hold more things. And like, I enjoyed it. Like, I did fight the wind a couple of times, not gonna lie. But you learn how to navigate around it. And a lot of times if you just go to the side, it helps you guide along. But like I had fun playing it. It took everything that I liked from Outer Wilds and took out the stuff that I hated, like the space and the 22 minutes to explore and stuff. And like if you actually go around to the different islands, you can actually learn more about the story, and it has different parts that you can adventure. Like earlier today, I went through a graveyard, and it was just like every time I walked past something, it was just like people shouting out like their families and stuff. And I was like, okay.
I found a couple of those, but what TJ's referring to is that on certain islands, when you enter certain areas, you'll get a little bit of flavor text that just pops up on the screen. Like it's just like this, and it's kind of the whole game is like generically cryptic, you know, in like
I mean, not even just like sometimes it does just randomly pop up, but there are times where literally you walk past and it's like reading it for you. Like you can go back and you can reread it.
Yeah.
I have a question. When I'm swimming through the vast ocean blue, the great blue seas with my guppy friends.
God, wait, I'm sorry. Just like, so what species of fish are you? Like,
I'm a mermaid.
Yeah. But like, you know, I think I see the human half, but like, what is that other thing?
Fish.
Holy mackerel, because that is a holy sight to be seen, my friends.
Oh, Malachi, you're too nice to me.
Definitely a sight to see.
X marks her chest, because I be digging it.
Okay. Hey, holy mackerel, what was your question?
That Malachi, he's a real cutie.
Just please ask your question.
Yeah, I feel a little uncomfortable.
So,
All right, we're reviewing a game. Sorry. Not here, darling.
Right. What was your question, Fiona?
my question for my new friends, whenever I'm swimming and I jump out for air, my top half it needs oxygen sometimes. I feel the rushing wind on my body, and they reminded me about this game because the wind is a big part of it. So I want to know how does the wind mechanic work in a game such as this?
I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take it. Now, all right, listen up real quick. For a game called Windbound, my expectation, although I went in with none, was that the wind will help guide you to wherever it is you need to go. Sure. Maybe it won't, not all the time. It's not going to hold your hand. But, you know, it's not going to also, like, hinder you from, like, your main goal, except... for me, at least, my gaming experience, that's exactly what it did. Every single chapter, from the moment you get out of the little, you go through the portal and you're into the next chapter, the wind said, hey, fuck
Amanda.
you. And what?
Have you ever looked it up? The definition of windbound?
I guess not. Is it not what I think
It
it
says
is?
windbound. Adjective. Of a sailing ship. Unable to sail because of extreme or contrary winds. The game is against you using the wind to get to these islands because they don't want you to.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Looks like the game showed its hand before you even played the cards.
The game did what it was supposed to do.
That's even more infuriating.
Big yikes!
Why did I buy the...
The whole point was you to go to different islands, not just the ones that were there.
The thing is that I was having such little fun that I didn't even want to explore. I was having such a hard time that I didn't want to go to the other islands.
All right, I would like to jump in on this real quick for a second.
Go ahead.
Your honorable Captain Lord Malachi and your sliminess. If I may, can I take a moment to discuss the two different difficulty settings?
I give ye the floor, the poop deck.
Gross.
I don't know who Slimy is. I'm Fiona, but I give you permission on behalf of Slimy.
Thank you, Fiona. So, the game has two difficulty settings. Survivalist and storyteller, I think. Storyteller?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Storyteller.
Survivalist is technically the default mode. It's the one that the game tells you it recommends. And Storyteller, I think I'm the only one that played on Survivalist, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Storyteller is the quote-unquote easy mode. So here's the big difference, the thing you need to know. With Survivalist, combat is a little bit more difficult. And anytime you die, you go all the way back to the beginning of the game. Storyteller, when you die, you go back to your last save, like in any other game, and combat's a little bit easier. So, as someone who played on Survivalist, I died a total of 3 times. I died twice within my first, hour of the game, just because I didn't know what was going on. I starved to death once, which, don't even get me started on that stamina mechanic. But, yeah, there's a stamina mechanic that runs out way too fast, like in Breath of the Wild, but it's way harder to upgrade. Anyways, and then, so I died 2 times kind of figuring out what the game was. And then I died once about halfway into Chapter 2, and after that happened, and I had to go all the way back to the very beginning, I said, never again. And mark my words, I never died again. Because, the way the game, and I was curious. I wanted to play on Survivalist because it's what they recommended. So I was like, clearly the devs are trying to add something by putting this mode in. They think there's something special about the permadeath mode. But the problem is that, the reason I felt so motivated to do whatever I was doing in the game was because the game was threatening me with having to play the game some more. Because the gameplay is the same all the way around. The only thing you keep in Survivalist when you die is, your immediate inventory, so I think it's 4 or 5 items, whatever, and the blessings, so the power-ups that you get. And so theoretically it should get easier, if you die a bunch of times and you manage to unlock some blessings and whatever, you have some cool stuff in your inventory. It should theoretically be easier. But the problem is that all 5 chapters are the exact same gameplay. And so if you're in storyteller mode and you're chilling, then you know what? Maybe you'll feel a little more inclined to explore. But playing on the recommended setting, the gameplay discourages exploration. Because if you make any mistakes, and in this game, you can die really freaking fast. And so the problem is that whenever I got into combat, my inclination was just to run away from it. It was if I don't need to engage with you, which, fun tip, you don't need to fight anyone in the game. If I don't need to engage with you, I'm gonna run. What I would do every single chapter, because at the end of each chapter, your health and your stamina are replenished. The first island I got to, I would hunt 1 animal. I would make 1 fire, and I would cook some food in case I got into a dire situation. But other than that, I was basically going tower, right to the end so that I could replenish my health immediately.
So you missed out on most of the game.
But the few times I tried to stray from that, it just it didn't reward me. I the 2 times I built, because the fun of this game that I could see people having is building the boats, right? The 2 times I built a better boat, they were broken within 5 minutes. So most of the game I played with the starting grass canoe and I just paddled. And that was more durable for some reason. I had more control. It was slow as hell, which was punishing. But it just wasn't worth because resources were so precious to me because of the threat of death that wasting them on a boat just to see if it's fun was not alluring to me, because I would have to go back and replay the previous 4 hours of gameplay. So it just wasn't worth it because the gameplay wasn't engaging. The world was not full enough. And it sucks because I'm being passionate about it now, I'm telling you guys, but honestly, Amanda's probably more passionate about it than I am. Ultimately, I hate to give away my hand real so quick, but I think you guys kind of get a feel for what my experience was. My big note was that the game is really generic, and ultimately the game is nothing. That's the best I can give you for the game. There's basically only 1 song. For all the slow sailing that you're doing, you're listening to the same song. Me, who I did not die really, very much at all. My gameplay was 8 hours. So that's rather short. But that's 8 hours of 1 song on loop. I was listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos in the background because it was the only way to keep my brain engaged on something most of the time. Hey everyone, it's just me with another super quick message. First of all, we want to give another big thank you to all of our founding parents for supporting the show. This includes Adriana Alarcón, Juan Zorrilla, Will Williams, Ann Baird, Giovanni Zorrilla, Andrea Jimenez Neste, Claudia Acosta, Marcy A., Jerry Benetatos, Katrina Scott, Carolina Riverol, Alejandro Alarcón, Alexia Wild, Giovanni Neste, Daniel Utzet, and Zenovia Ash. Thank you all so much for your support of the show. If you're wondering how you can support the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where our members get access to exclusive content like our 24-hour impressions of new releases. And by listener request, we've set up a Ko-fi, where you can make a one-time small donation for the price of a cup of coffee to help support the show. We understand that times are tight, and if you can't support us like that, please just consider writing a review for the show in the podcast app of your choice and sharing with your friends. And if you're enjoying Should I Buy It, though, please consider checking out our other show, Dungeons and Drimbus. If you like this show, we really think you'll like that show too. And that show just released a very special one-episode run of a Fall Guys-themed Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So go check out Dungeons and Drimbus. Lastly, for any of you who may have been enjoying our live streams, we are now streaming on Twitch. So go check out twitch.tv/Whimsic Productions and give us a follow. Thank you all so much for listening. I'll let you get back to the episode.
I agree that the gameplay is extremely tedious and it's exhausting to a certain point. Look, TJ, I will give you the name Windbound. Look, I'm gonna be real, guys. I clearly, that was my bad, but that makes me even more upset. I will say I loved, the only thing I really liked about the game was the crafting, which I had fun making new things and finding some things. But then there was the point that since I was having such a hard time traveling and getting through these rocky waters, I'm like, look, I'm going to hit the points that I know I need to hit and I'm going to get out because I wasn't having fun.
And I get that. If you're having troubles venturing around, it's going to be harder to grab items. I will say through each chapter, it did get harder.
Did it?
Yeah, because the enemies changed. The areas started killing you literally in the once I got to one chapter, I was walking around. I'm like, oh, there's poison here. I'm hitting bugs. There's a sand monster here.
Yeah, in the swamp, right?
Yeah, things I wanted to build early on. I'm like, oh, I can't build this because I don't know where this creature is because they didn't exist yet. And then you go on and you're like, oh, I can go get this.
But you also see then when you find a big monster in survivalist mode at the start of a chapter, it's then oh, I don't know if that thing's gonna one-shot me or if I have a fair chance of fighting it. So on the recommended experience, I don't need to kill it for any reason. So why am I gonna kill it?
I mean, again, it's survivalist, so it's just like Zelda, where it's just you can randomly walk into an enemy that you were not meant to fight yet.
Yeah.
But you can just be like, well, let me go fight it anyway and test it out. Survivalist is a lot more checking it out in the beginning, and then later on, once you can get a ranged weapon, you're just all right, well, now I can play it safe I can a survivalist, as opposed to I have a pointy stick, let me go stab the big thing and see what it does.
Mm-hmm. I will say that is if that's what they were shooting for, they definitely accomplished the goal of making me feel like I was in that scenario. Because in real life, if I were in that world, my thing would be keep your head down and do whatever it takes to survive and get out of here. And that's what I did. I will say, because the stamina bar that runs out too fast, I never sprinted in my gameplay.
I can't believe
once.
that.
I sprinted the whole time.
I sprinted the whole time, John.
You would need to eat more often to replenish it. So I was slow and steady. I will stay alive longer. It's going to be slower, but I'm going to walk there. And that way I don't need to worry about eating. And ultimately, I will get to my objective faster.
Yeah. Because I think I ran out of food once in chapter 1. And then I was good. I was upset that the stamina runs out because she legitimately gets tired and aired out. Yeah. But other than that, food is easy to replenish. You can just kill small things and you get the meat, or they always give you berries somewhere or mushrooms. I was almost never hungry. I was always eating stuff. And then because one, you were scared, so you're running through it trying to get to the finish line, and because she didn't like traveling, you missed out on the areas where they were literally here's more health, here's more stamina.
No, I found those. I found the blessings. Yeah.
I got more stamina.
The little gold things and the red things.
Yeah.
I got upgrades.
Yeah.
But look, let me tell. Look, the animals in the game, That's not no. What you need to worry about is your hunger and your stamina. Those are your two biggest enemies in this game. Nothing else. Maybe the waters, but other than that,
Hey, listen. I was halfway through chapter 4. Sailing. I had just made my bamboo canoe, which is like the upgraded one. I put the sail on it. I put a little storage thing. I was like, you know what? Fine. Let's give it a shot. Let's go with the upgrades. I had just sailed off of an island. A shark came out of nowhere and destroyed my boat in a single hit.
That's because the sharks are OP.
Yeah. And you have to understand that if that happens to you and you're out in open water, she will run out of stamina in like maybe 30 seconds and then immediately start dying. So you have a minute to get safe. I thought it was game over and I was like, after this, I'm, like whatever. Luckily, I made it to a little piece of coral and I was able to stand on it and build another boat and sail back to an island and like hunt and recover my health and do that and then head out. Which like tense moment, but for like the wrong reasons. It was because I was like, no, I need to play the game again.
I was gonna say, I ran into sharks too. One of them did mess up my boat and like completely annihilate it. Actually, did? No, I think I just ran into a rock and broke it. But another time, like literally, it would get damaged, and because I was on the grass when it had materials, I would literally take off the sailing mechanic and go, "Let me heal my boat real quick," and then go right back to sailing.
I saw you do that, and I was very impressed. I'm like, wow. I enjoyed actually watching you play it more than I actually experienced playing it myself, which that makes me very, very sad. But happy for you.
Makes me sad as well.
I was excited because I love Zelda games. So like,
I've never played the Zelda games.
I haven't either. I enjoy survival games. I really do, and I liked the idea of Windbound because they seem to tie in a story to the game potentially. That's what again, zero expectations, but that is what I expected, and the story was for me like. It was kind of
story was definitely lacking because it was left to interpretation.
It really is.
Details are left to interpretation, but the broad strokes of it, like if you look at it, and again, like I'm not mad at it, but I'm just saying that like it's a very kind of generic, like grand story in the theme that it's trying to tell. I won't give anything away because you literally get like one chapter of it each chapter. They're painted on murals, and that's really all you get. So yeah, it is wonderful that it's left up to interpretation, I guess, but like. It's not like I was like, oh, what's the deep hidden message? Like, it was just like a big generic story.
I couldn't even tell you. I truly couldn't even tell you because I looked at those murals for a good while and I'm like, wow, I must just be like an idiot, dude. Like, I'm not. Like, I don't know.
That's why it was cool because like you can see the mural and then you go and you see like the interpretation of it. And then when you hit certain islands and you just see like the flavor text pop up and you're like, oh shit, like I was right. Like this is kind of cool.
See, I didn't have that experience and that sounds actually really pleasant.
I had the moments, but I didn't have that experience. I was just like, okay, cool.
I didn't care enough also about the story. I didn't care enough. I wasn't having enough fun in the game to care about the story.
Also, apparently like all of the islands are randomly, like I guess the one I found that out chapter 1 because every time like I died like 2-3 times in chapter 1 just getting into the game, and every time it would respawn and I'm on a different island and it's a different setup. So I think all the islands are randomly generated, so your experience is never the same.
I thought that, but then as I played the game more, I don't know why I started to doubt it, and as I saw other people play it, maybe the placement of the islands is random, or maybe your spawn might be random. But I have a feeling some of the islands are predetermined, and then just maybe like the mob encounters.
I mean, I'm sure it has like a set cycle of where the islands are, and it just like when you load in, it's like all right, these are where the islands are.
I mean, if you can get really into the crafting, like, and that's why if you look at my 24-hour impressions, like I said, it looks, I kind of gave how I felt, but I was like, there's a certain subset of people that I think would really love this game.
If you can get into the crafting, it'd be sweet because, like, I didn't even get to dig into everything, but you can get, like, helmets and, like, you can make everything. You can start with wood to get to bone. You can start making metal stuff. Like, it's nuts.
The crafting was the most fun part for me, I will say. It really was. That I really had fun with that.
Mm-hmm. Just to clarify for them listening, what exactly is required to complete a level of Windbound? Since it is a roguelike after all.
Oh, this is true. So the plot of the game, basically, quote unquote plot, is there are because like it's hard. So there are towers. And through these towers, what happens is you climb the tower as your character. She has like a magic shell. You touch this rock, the shell absorbs some of the energy and it lights up a pillar. And you need 3 of the pillar lights to light up this like giant shell magic thing in order to go to the next level. And like once you do that, you learn a little bit of, like they give you some flavor text about like a little bit of the story. Sometimes it lights up where one of the other towers are, and you can go find that as well.
So you're lighting up a tower.
You light up a tower 3 times, and then you sail through a little like. The best way I could kind of give you a feeling is like the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disney. It's like you're going through the water and there's things that are happening, but like really it's just a little path, and then you're done.
Yo, you're giving this game way too much credit. That ride is fire.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Sure. But yeah, especially in the early chapters, there's usually really not much of anything. I will say you catch some really fun, gnarly waves in that little crossing. That was when the sailing felt the most fun, when you would get on a big wave and you'd pick up speed on the way down. That felt really cool, but it wasn't even the real gameplay part of the game. It was in those little contained sections. So like it
was
wasn't
so weird.
a lot. Yeah. And then whatever. So you do that, and then you do that 5 times for each chapter. It's literally the same goal for every single chapter.
I'm not too familiar with what a Disney is, but the Pirates of the Caribbean are quite frightening. I try to stay away from those waters because they're rude to me and my other merfolk friends.
I mean, hey, I saw what some of your people did to them in one of those movies. It was kind of rough.
So Fiona, is your dad also King Triton or?
My father is indeed a king. He wields a trident, but his name is Greg.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
By a trident, do you just mean like a fork or like a full-on trident?
It's like a really, really, really big fork.
Hey, you know, that can be cool.
Right. So this might just be the symptom of a roguelike, because I haven't played too many myself, but you said something about procedurally conjured levels being somewhat generic and boring. So perhaps maybe in its own DNA, the fact that it is procedurally conjured, that it has so many constants and variables that ultimately there's not much variety at all, even though it advertises that it is.
Yeah, that could very well be it. And I think, it's probably an interesting concept, but in execution, it's just the world is too big and your movement is too slow and unsatisfying. Because in a roguelike, like something like, even though I haven't necessarily played Dead Cells, but a lot of times in a game like Dead Cells or something like that, the allure is that it's all procedurally generated, but you have swift movement. It feels fluid. You're getting through combat quick. You get a flow. This game is very, very slow, especially if you're playing on Survivalist, where every time you die, you get set back. You have to go gather materials. You have to craft your boat. You have to get sailing. You have to get to the first island. You have to get food. You have to make your weapons. You have to, with some variations based on, what's in your essential inventory or what blessings you have, that sort of thing. But overall, like...
Are you unable to save in Survivalist? Because I know like you die, but like I don't know if you couldn't save or not.
Oh, no. I think you can save. I'm pretty sure you can
so,
save.
like,
That's
you
fine.
couldn't just hard reset?
Huh?
If you die, could you just load up the same save?
Maybe if you shut off the program fast enough, maybe. But, I mean, that's such a weird workaround that at that point, like, just play Storyteller. Especially
Right.
because you can change your game mode at any moment. Okay, I'm gonna out myself here real quick. When I got hit by that shark in the middle of chapter 4, I was missing one of the 3. I was like almost done. I changed that thing to Storyteller. The moment I saw my health start depleting, I was like, no! I changed it to Storyteller. I got to the coral without dying, and then I was like, okay, that was a moment of weakness. Let's put it back on Survivalist. But yeah, you have that option at any point in time. Like,
I don't even blame you.
I realize now in hindsight, I would have been screwed either way because I had never saved.
So what I'm hearing is the game should have recommended story, and then Survivalist is for people who want a challenge.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
I will say, like, you can probably, by dying over and over, because you do get to save the mystic points that you spend on upgrades, so you can probably get better upgrades over the course of, like, having to do the crossings over and over and getting the upgrades at the end of it. Maybe, but, like, I don't think that's a big enough draw for what it is,
So, one of my new sailor friends here mentioned music earlier, and as a fine songstress myself, I'm a big fan of music.
Could you give us a siren song?
Oh, absolutely. One moment, please.
This is beautiful.
You play that one note beautifully.
Thank you.
A tear rolls down my eye. I'm so captivated by the song.
It draws in many a sailor. Anyway.
Malachi, put your pants back on.
Oh. When did that happen?
Whoa.
Anyway, I will say the music is nice. It's pretty calm. But you do hear a lot the same. Like if you're sailing on the water, it's pretty much the same unless you're in a storm and then it gets dangerous, or if you run into an enemy, it's dangerous on sea. When you go to different islands, it changes. But even then, they cycle like the same 3 songs. So the more variety would have been nice.
I agree.
I agree with that. I will say at the very beginning with the music, I was like, wow, this is soothing. I can totally get into this or whatever. And then once I got to like chapter 3 and the struggling really started, I felt like the music was patronizing me. Because it's like, it takes a second. I swear to God, it takes a second for the music to like kick in once you start sailing. So you're sailing, it's like 30 seconds. And then you get like this softish, pretty music in the back. And I'm just like, you shut up right now. I'm doing my best. And it was just...
Ouch.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt personally. But besides that, it's pretty nice music. But yeah, variety would have been
antagonized by the wind.
Like it was being really mean. If I knew ahead of time, I wouldn't have I'm still going to be upset though. Whatever. Forget it.
They're there.
Shut up.
So in a video game where the wind is the biggest draw, it was actually the most annoying element?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
See, I have a friend back home, a merman named Deal Nuckman, who says that's called a subversion of expectations.
Well, you can tell your merman friend to shove it.
Oh, she's mad.
The art design looks a lot like another video game called Breath of the Wild.
I think Breath of the Wild looks better.
Yes. The art direction for this game is good. They have cool concepts, they have cool designs, they have a really wonderful color palette, but the execution of it is really janky. In the opening 30 minutes of the game, I was looking at it and I was like, I can't tell if this game is really pretty or really crappy. I was really confused. And I think the reason I was confused is because it varies from element to element. Some elements look great. Like sometimes you look at the water and I'm like, wow, that's some nice water. And then other times you look at a simple item model and it looks like hot garbage.
Yeah, I did feel like I was playing a Switch game.
Yeah. TJ, I thought it was a bug in my game, but I watched you play the finale today, and in the finale there's a scene and you see varying levels of water, but it literally looks like 2 divided rectangles of different shades of blue. And that's it. It doesn't look like water. It just looks like a backdrop. It's weird because it varies between good and bad, and ultimately it varies enough that if I had to say, it's probably bad.
I feel like this is one of those things though where that might just be the capabilities of Unity, because whenever we talk about this, it's usually a game made by Unity.
Fair.
Not saying that Unity is not a great system to make games, but a lot of times when we're running into these problems with shaders and colors and all that stuff, it's usually a game made by Unity.
Yeah. Well, regardless, that's what it looks like. That's what you'll get if you buy the game. Yeah. But again, I do think the art direction was actually good.
I have another question.
I have another answer.
Whenever I'm swimming in the ocean blue going splish splash with my guppy friends, I sometimes get really tuckered out and I have to go take a nappy nap in a clamshell at home and pamper myself until I'm back up to speed, ready to go back out and sail the ocean blue, going splish splash with my guppy friends. Did this video game make you feel like stamina should not be a thing in video games?
Yes.
I think for survival it works. I just don't think you should have stamina to run. I think the food meter was great, but having her actually legitimately not be able to, it's kind of cool too, because when she was hungry she just couldn't run as long. But I don't know, it was weird. They just need to slow that down.
It's a good
Yeah.
idea, but I think it was too intense. It was too taxing.
Because even with the blessing that I have to lower stamina, it still took a lot of stamina.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a hardcore challenge, like, sure, I can see how that might be a draw, but if you want a hardcore challenge, you're probably not playing Windbound necessarily. Like, hey, listen, the hunger in DayZ is punishing. That game is a walking simulator, and you look for beans. Like, go play that. But like Windbound, I wanted more freedom. I wanted that Breath of the Wild feel, and I felt like I had chains on me because of some of these mechanics.
There is stamina in Breath of the Wild. The one time my human friend let me play that game.
I agree. I think Breath of the Wild stamina is very annoying early on, but there is a clear and attainable path to upgrading it so that it's not as much of an issue. In this game, it's a little less clear, and even if you do upgrade, I still don't think it gets to like a crazy level. It was just like a nice extra buffer where I felt more secure, but not like I don't know. I never felt like I had. As in survivalist mode, I never felt like I had that freedom that you eventually get when you upgrade, like in Breath of the Wild.
Also, the upgrades varied because when I was watching your stream, TJ, the upgrades you were offered at like the beginning, I was like, I didn't get those. Were not offered to me. Mm-hmm. Those were not an option.
Those might be random. Because it was like poison, and I was like, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm like, at least I don't know if you guys saw that too, but I thought that was an interesting choice.
I think that is a factor of the survivalist mechanism, because you're probably expected to go through those crossings many, many times and see many different upgrade options.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, because if you die, then you'll go back. Or a lot of times you'll probably want to die to go back.
They're cool upgrades, but the gameplay just still wasn't fun enough to like encourage anything for me.
I think it's fun enough. I'm not gonna lie though, I wouldn't play that on survival. Like, I will not play that on survival. But I'll go back into that.
Straight up, I will say this right now: I don't recommend anyone plays it on survival. If this game sounds appealing to you, you will have more fun on storyteller mode.
100%.
And even then,
even though it's a survival game.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready to decide if it walks the plank?
If it pleases your captainship
and your fishiness.
Cabin, it's your ship.
Right. In the case of Windbound, how do you vote?
Okay. Mine is pretty simple. I didn't really have any crazy expectations coming into the game, but I was looking forward to it. I was hoping to have fun. And ultimately, while this game didn't piss me off, it was just so bland, like it was nothing. It did kind of waste my time a little bit, but it was just so inoffensive that I almost feel like it's worse. Like, I feel like at least if a game pisses you off, it did something. This game just did nothing for me. I finished it and I was like, okay, that was 8 hours of my life. Goodbye. So yeah, definitely do not buy. You should not buy it though.
Take a step towards the plank, you game.
If you're looking for a story, or straight up like, this is our point A, this is our point B, narrative story, you're not gonna get that here. But if you're looking to go around to a pseudo open world sandbox, it's kind of weird. They try it. It's pretty fun. You can go, you can craft. The sailing part is like, okay. I'm probably gonna go back and try to build bigger ships and get the different items just to see what I can accomplish. So I'm gonna say you should buy it, especially at that price. It's something that you can do, and it's something that, as long as you're not on survival mode, you can just like go in, you can play a little bit. You don't have to worry too much about like, oh, I haven't progressed in the story in a while, and you can actually just like go and get what you're trying to do. So I say go and buy it.
Excuse me, I have a question. You keep using the term bucks. What is the conversion rate of bucks to seashells?
It's about 3 scales.
Oh, that's too many scales. Fuck that noise. Do not buy this game.
Well, you're not voting.
Oh, I wouldn't waste my seashells on it.
That man vouches for that game, so I can't tell it to walk any further.
Uh-oh.
Unless the lass has an opinion that sways the jury.
I have an opinion. I will say that both Giancarlo and TJ make excellent points, because to an extent, I do agree with TJ. I think if you're into the exploration and you're into the crafting, which I do highly recommend, because watching TJ get to explore was way more fun, and he got to do it way more than I did, because again, I struggled to the point where I just wasn't having fun. And I tried the zigzags. I tried to work with that sail to the point where I said, forget this. I'm building another boat. I'm dropping the sail. I'm going to row. And then I got the sail again eventually, and I hated my life once again. So, yes and no. I don't think you should buy this game. I do not think you should buy this game. I think you can just watch someone play the game and you'll be fine. I think there's next to no plot, to be perfectly honest. The gameplay was just extremely tedious. It's repetitive as hell. The objectives it's the same thing every single time. I don't think it's worth it. The crafting is cool, but it's not really necessary. If you want to get the game just to craft and just to explore, go for it. If not, nah, dude, there's really no point to it. I was personally let down a bit, but that's me. I will say I learned what Windbound means, so that's cool.
You heard her, you cowardly game. Quaking in your booties, are ye? Walk the plank.
Splash. Sleeping with the guppies.
In the case of Windbound, ye shall not buy. Sail far away, away, I say, avast ye, and look out, 'cause there she blows, one of the worst Zelda clones you ever seen. Ha 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 ha. But you know, if you
She's
wanna
so
comment,
bad that I just want to comment on something Amanda said. TJ, I love you, buddy. I watched all your streams all the way through. I watched them for you. Don't even bother watching anyone play the game. Go watch someone play something good, like, please. It's just a freaking snooze fest. I'm sorry, I just had to say, like, yeah. Oh God.
Dang, dude.
Man.
I liked your stream, but I liked it for you, not for the game. Like, go watch TJ play something else. Like,
Right.
Just watch me play anything,
Dude,
bro.
I
Just follow us on Twitch, dude. We have a Twitch now.
yeah, twitch.tv/Whimsic Productions. Go give us a follow.
So Fiona, is there a Mr. Fiona?
Oh my God.
All right,
Well.
that's been it for Should I Buy It, though. Thank you all so much for listening. We'll talk at you next week.
I'm gonna sing this game a goodbye song.
You know.
Oh my God. End it. Kill it with fire. Kill it with fire. Kill it with fire.
Goodbye, guys.
Please just say, please just say
Bye.
it. Please just say it.
Goodbye.
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 Ooh,
Oh God.
that was unsettling.
It was the goodbye song.